A while ago, I came across these scrapbooks from the 1890s, and there's about 5 of them, 6 of them, and so I'm gonna just blast through them. And I recommend you all pause when you see something amazing, because there's just so much. It would have taken forever if I had slowed them down really anymore, and they're going fast. So enjoy. This guy, these scrapbooks, I believe his name is William Tupper Vaughan, or William Vaughan Tupper, 1835 to 1898, and these were published around 1891, I believe. And so this guy just traveled around during this pre-reset, mid-reset, post-reset, whatever it is, world, and he came across all these amazing sites. And I have a feeling a lot of these have been taken, have been hidden, have been seized, have been destroyed, have been blown up in wars, have been just put in private collections. God knows what else they've done. They're probably in like warship rooms or random people's islands or something in the Caribbean. Who knows? And these people, God knows where they're from. But all of this looks like they were here to document something. And this is one of those videos that makes me think that ancient Egypt may not have been flourishing thousands of years ago. It may have been way sooner than that. All of these things could have been painted. The blasts, the fires could have all been painted and then just taken it off. All those walls, all those immaculate designs and golds and precious metals could have been just extracted, could have been melted down in a blast, could have been taken to another part of the realm. Who knows? And I wonder when those started, when the face masks and things like that started. But look at those lions' gates, all of this stuff. And again, I apologize for not slowing down. That's for you all to do. This is kind of just me really pointing out something awesome. A great source. I'll include the links below. I might not even talk over all of this. I might just leave a lot of this to some music and let you guys just enjoy instead of just hearing me babble. But look at this. Look at all this stuff. So much was being uncovered at this time, and these people were just in a playground all over the world. In a playground, there's the ultra rich that are able to travel to these spots and take photos in 1891 that are perfect photos. Look at this. That thing looks like ancient Egyptian. All right, what a lie. This is probably when the people were scouting around the earth looking for stories. The creatives were probably being sent around. Wow, being sent around. Look at these faces on these things. Something was like, I bet you at one point there had to have been people, the elites, that were going around traveling these places thinking about how they could invent everything, how they could rehistorize and retell these tales so that the war and their evilness can be eradicated and everything can just seem like, oh, it's been a gradual progression through history. We now have all this stuff, but they never had any of that stuff before. That's just mystery that we don't know. But the people, so amazing. Everyone has such a depth of character. Everyone is just really unique, really cultured by their past. But everything, all these pictures, Constantine, Algeria, all these places, something. Just, this guy knew, the guy taking these pictures knew that these were once grand things. I don't think they thought that it was just nature. I think they were like, wow, this is the massive destruction that was wreaked at one point, somewhat recently, and I'm walking through it. And, and like I said before, they had to have people traveling these places to write the fake history. Because how else are you going to do it? You really have to make it somewhat believable. You have to include some facts, but then you have to shift it in such a way that nobody will question it, or there just won't even be a need to question it, because that's just what's been passed on. So who knows? They I can't imagine. Look at that, pristine. I can't imagine traveling and seeing these places at this time. I mean, the food you'd eat, the people you'd meet, the people you'd talk to, the conversations you'd have, the rooms, the lightings. The lighting was probably amazing. The lack of poison everywhere. Look at the dress, the attire of all these people. Everything was so well decorated. Nothing is cheesy. Nothing is flashy. Nothing is like geared towards advertising or towards like mind controlling people into thinking a certain way. It's all just pure. There's design, there's symmetry, there's sacred geometry, there's arches, there's everything designed, engineered by masters. All of it. Even the gardening. The trees are old. They're all awesome. What a nice scrapbook. These are so much cool. And even the scrapbook. It's like nowadays scrapbooking is like a color fest of like weird, like freakish, nasty stickers and garbage nonsense. All egomaniacal baloney. But look at what? These buildings. Oh, these cities. So perfectly laid out. Oh yeah, this is wrong. Imagine how big this. I mean, nowadays this place has changed so much. The city is huge around it. Look at this time. There's nothing, none of that. Unbelievable. That's like one of the biggest cities in the world, but this is like not during this time. Just kept building up. The populations. How many times have the populations rose and fall, and how many more billions were there at one point when all these, look at that. That thing probably went so big. It looks like an ancient tree now that I think about it. Exactly looks like one of those old trees. Then they just put something on top of it at some point. So it's just the eons this could be. All of it. Eons old. Absolutely relics. Or it could be even newer. But look at this stuff. These castles. Something at one point was building magnificent stuff. Unbelievable stuff. And if you keep going, how far will you go? All the same questions I always pose during these things, but the answers are just still eluding us all. And somewhere someone has it. I know it. I know somewhere in the Smithsonian there's ways to piece it together, and in private collections there just absolutely has to be. All this ancient mythology, all this stuff, I still wonder if it exists beyond the poles, if Mount Olympus is just a thriving metropolis that makes New York City look like a suburb. But with all these buildings, all these ethereal devices, all these bells, look at these. Wow. National museums. And these countries these people travel to during these scrapbooks are really, really great. They knew exactly what to check out, and just wait till you see some of the buildings and the later ones in Europe and stuff like that. Holy good God. Yeah, like Austria. Great, amazing place. Just such a beautiful, magnificent place. It's like the whole place was a palace and a castle and just made for something divine. Something we have no clue about. When I went on tour in Europe, our last show was in Austria, and it was just an incredible feeling. Touring Europe with music was one of the look at that, wow, one of the greatest things I've ever done, and it really just was remarkable to just be sitting in ancient places. And that's when it hit me at one point that, like, these places are ancient, and I'm seeing things that I would see in America, and they wouldn't be considered ancient, and I wonder, it made me kind of think back then. That was like 10 years ago. Little did I know this world we would be uncovering now, and these realizations we would be coming to that just lead towards something so ridiculous. I don't even know. So many theories out there. My Earth rental theory from an earlier video, that all this stuff was just rented. Someone has the lease out on all of this part of our realm, and they cleaned it, they got it prepped, they wrote the history, they eradicated whatever was left, and whatever. There's that theory. There's just so many theories. The East India Company, a big part of all of this. I wonder if they had any sponsorship with this guy, or who was sponsoring this guy, or if he was just a freelancer. But I don't know. I mean, the camera is perfect, and this can't be the first era of the camera because it's just too good. Like, how old is the camera? Camera obscura is ancient. There's so many things. Rambling. So maybe I'll go to 10 minutes and then I'll leave the rest for you all with music. But wow. I can't believe that these buildings were once a part of here, and now we're in such a place with just box buildings, glass, useless things, clearly no tech involved. They're just dull. They're almost electrically dead. John Levy's been actually posting a lot of, his last video was about batteries, and a lot of these, some of these places being batteries for other places, or fuel. Maybe that is how they fueled things. Instead of power plants, batteries, or different chemical processes that could just perpetually generate power, or something. Who knows? Ethereal connectors using a totally different substance. There could be a different substance that they took out. They could have polluted our world in a way that's like, that just you don't know. Our oceans could be the conductor, everything, the water, the ether, the air, the electric air. There are some old books about ether from the 1700s that talk about the air being charged and electrical and having everything in it, the potential all over the place. I'm going to get to a video of that, but just all the way these structures were built, they were just not built for design, not built for anything but blank, something we don't freaking know. so repurposed, so destroyed, and just targeted for destruction so that we never know. These don't even look like, I can't even imagine a human conceiving of those designs. It does not seem like something that a person like us could just draw up in their head, create, and then have a team of us build from scratch. Like, what is the inspiration for these? If these were the first ones, who inspired them to do this? They were purely original crafters and engineers and masters of this. Or has time been going on forever? People just coming because this plane is just forever, marked with people that are nomads, and people that are technological wizards and masters and magicians all over the place, beyond our outskirts, and just either watching us or existing in a whole world without even us being a thought, a blip on their radar. There's so many different possibilities. I love hearing them from you all. I love coming up with them. I love trying to draw them. I love finding images that just blast them apart. Even if you go one route in your mind and then something comes up and you're like, wow, and then you have to adjust. But something is coming, and it's so funny now looking at old history, old common history, or modern popular history. Look at that water fountain, Jesus. And where they try to just, people are so easily satisfied with these pathetic explanations. These just like, oh, it was caused by this massive thing was caused by this word, and then that's it. They don't dig any deeper. They don't even consider digging any deeper. Oh, that belonged to the blah blah blah-ians. Then that's it. Nothing. Oh, there's a temple in that mountain. It looks like it's carved in. Oh, whatever. No one even thinks about any of this stuff. Why these old buildings were here all over the place. Who did them in a horse and carriage era with no electricity and no power tools, supposedly. What a charade. The wool has been pulled over our eyes, and God bless these people that went around during the time and were able to document it, because there are so many images in this. It would take me decades to go over each one and try to figure it out. The canals, this whole collection shows just so many different topics relating to things that we've been discussing, and I just had to share it with all. I hope you all love it. It's really ridiculous, the Sound of Music or whatever this thing is. Look at these castles, magical places, and all the stories used to be inspired by these castles and stuff. Nowadays it's like, what? I would take any of these over the Burj Khalifa or any of those things any day. The power of being in this cannot be replicated in a modern structure or city or anything. The feel that these people were existing in the pre-cell phone era, when time was precious, is just amazing. It's amazing to see. It's amazing to think that people, whether humans or giants or something, that some life form could create these magical artistic wonders. Some life form at one point in the past thought of the world as basically a canvas and was creating mastery, and was discovering all of the intricate ways, and probably utilizing their brains in much more amazing ways than us, as we've been dulled down in time and numbed. Our senses have been numbed, and we don't see the world. We don't feel. We're not even able to really connect the way these people probably were. Their time, wasn't just passing by. They weren't just like, oh, I can't wait to get to this, I can't wait to get to that. They were just in the moment all the time. It looks like in a spiritual realm, in a world where, being surrounded by these buildings, you were feeling the power constantly, and we don't have that now. It's just this dulling. There's like buffers, almost like like how certain things aren't conductors of electricity. It's almost like that's what they're making the houses out of now. Look at that guy. Like, what is that? What are all these sculptures and statues made of? They must tell a story that has to be based on some form of reality. You don't just write like Dr. Seuss doesn't have, no one's going to create a glass marble sculpture or building dedicated to a Dr. Seuss story. These are much more than stories. They are so important pieces of our true treasured past, and they're staring us right in the face. And some are left. I bet a lot of these amazing artworks are taken now, but look at these artworks. Wow. Everything. Perfect. We have to discover how this was all possible at one point. What made it possible? What discoveries led to this? And let's get back on the path so that we can create a world that looks as magnificent, as spectacular, and is as honored as this is. Our world is a miraculous, miracle place. Our engineering and arts should reflect that like they did in the past. I'm hoping to bring that back, and I hope you all can too. Bless you all. Hope you all enjoyed this. Thanks.